What does it take to lead at the highest level? When everyone's watching, expectations are sky high, and failure is public? Today on the Stand for Kind podcast, we're sitting down with Coach Eric Kjar, the new head coach of the Weber State University football program, stepping into his first year at the college level after building one of the most dominant high school programs in Utah. He's coached athletes who have gone on to play at the highest levels. But today, we're going deeper into pressure, mental health, leadership, and the lessons every young athlete needs to hear. If you've ever felt the weight of expectations, doubted yourself, or ever wondered what it really takes to succeed, this conversation's for you. All right, Coach Kjar, thank you so much for being here on the podcast. I can't tell you how excited I am about this conversation. I want to get right into, first of all, being at Weber State. How are you feeling? Does it feel overwhelming going from high school now to a college level, drinking from a fire hose, basically?
Yeah, initially when I first took it, obviously there's a ton of excitement and was excited for the challenge, but then getting into it and even just going, even applying, there was some pressure of just, hey, if this happens, it's going to be really, a lot, and there's going to be a lot of things that I haven't done before that I'm going to be thrown into. And we talked a little bit about the NCAA rules, but even some of just the policies, procedures, handling a staff and operating at a different environment and level, at the college level versus the high school level. There's a lot of parts that are the same, but there was a good portion of it that's been different, and like you said, drinking from a fire hose for sure.
Yeah.
Especially early on.
When you first came in here, I asked you, was it like somebody walked in with a big giant book and just dropped it on your desk and said, "Here are all the new rules you have to know"?
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. Just trying to stay on top of it, and we got a really good compliance staff that helps and helps keep me kind of abreast of the new stuff that's coming on. And
it's a lot though.
Oh yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Has it sunk in that you are a Division I coach? I mean, you were at Corner Canyon. How many years were you actually there?
I was there 9.
9 years.
Mm-hmm.
But has it sunk? I'm sure there were talks of you going and coaching at the college level, but to go right to a head coach position, that's a big deal. Not a lot of high school coaches do that.
Yeah.
So has there been a moment where it's kind of hit you oh my goodness, what have I done?
Yeah, for sure, a few times. And even you had talked about a little bit, overwhelming part of it, early on, especially. But just knowing in the decision-making process of why I wanted to do it, the challenge of it, trying to grow a little bit more from a professional standpoint and push myself to another level. I felt that, I just kept kind of relying back to that, because there was some times where I was I should have just maybe stayed where I was at. And it's been good, though. It's been everything I wanted when I decided to do it, and to grow and learn more and improve in the game, of actual coaching it, but then learning the other parts of it has been really, really good for me, for sure. But overwhelmed for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
There's a lot more players, a lot more paperwork, a lot
of pressure still, too, trying to make sure you're right on stuff.
I'm sure.
Well, even the recruiting aspect, the pressures that come with that, to make sure you're right on the kids you bring in, and you're bringing in good kids that are going to represent the university the right way, and then they still got to be able to play football the right way too. So
and all the rules that go with recruiting. I was on a recruiting trip. I won't say the school because I don't want to get them in trouble, but I was on a recruiting trip for volleyball, and I was out of state, and the coach came running in at the place I was staying, and they said, "We got to get you back on a plane right now," because they missed the windows where I could actually be there. There's so many little rules and things.
There's so many. Yeah. I just got an email about May dead periods. I was oh, all right.
Yeah. I happened to be at the school, and one of them came up on them. They messed up the dates, and all of a sudden I was on a plane by myself.
That's so
back
funny.
home. So those things do happen.
We got to get you on a plane. We got to get out of
here.
Get
out of bed right now. We got to go.
So that's wild.
Okay, so I asked you here today because, yes, we could talk about football all day long.
Yeah.
I love football. But I want to go a little bit deeper with you, because when I think about people in the state who have had to really perform under pressure, I think about you and what you came from at Corner Canyon. So I want to back up a little bit, because I think that there is an opportunity here to connect with a lot of people and a lot of athletes out there who might feel that pressure and not know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So walk us back. I have to say this. You have to say this. 48-game winning streak when you were at Corner Canyon. In your career, 7 state championships, one at Jordan High School. When people talk about your coaching career, it's a legacy here in Utah. And I know you probably don't like to hear that. Every coach is humble in the sense that they're like, okay, move on. But what did that feel like for you in terms of that pressure as it built?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's one like I've thought about a lot myself and like how to manage it because you feel it for sure. Like the better you get in your program and your team gets and the higher the expectations get. But Riley Jensen one time came and met with our team about like how to kind of handle some of that stuff. And once like that pressure's earned, like it's not like we didn't do anything in our program there to earn that pressure and embrace that and lean into it a little bit. Like this is what we wanted. Would we want it to be the other way? We were mediocre and not a high level team that had achieved some things. We wanted like all of that part of it. And you got to remember that when you're doing it, that's really what you want. And there is a ton of pressure that goes with it. Like there was nights where like you would just, you want to continue, and not even really so much for yourself, but like for your team and the kids, like to stay on a high level and be high achieving and win a state championship. You want teams to go out the right way. And there's a lot that adds up like onto that. I remember like there's a few times I even talked to my brother. He's like, well, yeah, you guys haven't lost a game in like 3 seasons. And I'm like, yeah, but
That's
like,
unheard of.
When I a lot of times would just try to function without thinking about it. But every once in a while you would just kind of like, hey, like we got to like get this thing going. And you tried not to let yourself get into that space. Just focus on the game, focus on the process, like do that stuff the right way.
But did it ever, I mean, let's talk about what people didn't see. They see the wins, the losses, they see the stats. They see Corner Canyon won again. They see the big names that come out of the program, right? What did they not see behind the scenes when you were coaching?
Yeah, there was definitely like nights for sure, and like sometimes like days where there was like a lot of pressure to continue that, and you would try to go back to like the parts that you knew.
Okay.
Why you were doing it, but like there was lots of sleepless nights, and you try not to let it get to you too much. But if
was there one thing you would do? Is there one thing that would ground you?
Exercise a ton.
Physical exercise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That was one of the best things. Great outlet for me that would kind of let me recenter myself a little bit and not, I'd have those anxious moments of trying to make sure we continued to stay at a high level, and the exercise part for me has been a great tool, and just working through mental health stuff, and then also, being able to stay a little better grounded, and there's some other things like a little bit of meditation stuff that I had done, but that had helped out a ton.
I hope that our male athletes hear that, the young ones. You just said meditation.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you ever try to implement that with your kids?
Yeah.
Because
sure.
I could see a lot of them just rolling their eyes, those high school kids, like, oh, we're not going to meditate. But no, there's truth in that.
Yeah, meditation, visualization are great tools and really good players, tools for players to achieve at a high level. The brain's such a powerful tool and controls everything, and can really, it's a great tool for mental health too, but it can really create, you add that physical side plus that mental side into it, it can create like a super athlete or a high achieving type athlete if they trust it and embrace it.
Was there ever a moment, like a singular moment that you can reflect back on, a game, a practice before a big game? You guys traveled all over the country to play really big teams, where it almost just felt too much. And if there was, what did you do in that moment to help bring you back?
There was probably a few times like when we, like the consecutive part of it, and then the championships, especially kind of later, like the last 2 seasons, those 2 years, and where you felt it, like where it didn't feel like too much, but it felt like a lot. Like it was almost to a point where you're like looking forward to when it's done.
Yeah.
But you recenter and you go back to like the kids. Like if you focus on your players and like what they do and like how they approach everything, and like they're fun. too.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot of fun with him. You enjoy. You remember why you're doing it. Like why did I get into this game? Why am I coaching it? Like if you get back and just focus on your players and helping them and prepping them the right way, and then having fun with them too.
Yeah.
Like that's really why I got into it. And if I can remember that when I get into those moments where it's really, really hard and really difficult, and I'm like, I don't know, like about doing this still, like maybe I need to go, retire for a little bit, but you love it. Like you love the game and like that part of it. So you go back to that. That's why you do it. And you got to reframe it. The other stuff's so big and overwhelming. But if you go back to why you're doing it, like the kids are great. Like,
Is that why you got into coaching?
Oh, yeah,
Did you always think you were going to be a coach? Is that where your path was taking you? Did you know that?
Yes, but I thought about not doing it just from a financial aspect, especially the high school side.
Because there's not a whole lot of money in coaching high school ball.
I actually
we know that.
thought about going into accounting for a little bit.
Shout out to all the coaches out there who are putting in the work every day.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. There's really, especially like high school coaches, but then even like the guys you bring in, like just assist.
Okay,
like
so what was the moment as a coach? I think, I've coached high school as well, but what was the moment where you went, this is my path, this is what I want to do? Was there a certain athlete? Was there a certain moment in coaching where it really sunk in for you that this is what you needed to do?
Yeah, I had a head coach. He was my first 2 years that I was at Kemmer. I grew up in Kemmer, Wyoming. And I really looked up to him. And then a few years later, I had a friend that went to that same high school, that went to the new high school that he was coaching at. And we were back there, and we talked about like the high school coaching aspect of it and really what he liked about it. And that's when I for sure locked in and knew like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is what I enjoy about it. And it's just like that effect you can have on a high school kid.
Just because of his influence on you, what was it that he did, or how did he guide you?
His passion, like for it, but then also like just the way he handled himself, to like in that profession, like pushing us. Like he was very driven, hardworking, goal setting, high achieving, but then also like fun too. Yeah. At that same time, and I like that's a great way to be, productive and improve and continue to get better as a person, but then also having a lot of fun as you do it. And then you get to make, and I think some of the differences you see in that you can make with young men in those sports
it's huge.
It's unmatched. There's not another avenue you can do that in, and it's all encompassing. Like it's not just football, it's their personal life, school, what we're talking about, mental health. There's a ton of things you can have influence with that in too.
Speaking, I want to go back to that a little bit here, the mental health. I mean, you coach some really big name quarterbacks. I think anyone here in Utah will recognize the names, Zach Wilson, Jackson Dart, and you've helped create a path for some of these athletes to make it to the next level, not just college, but beyond, right? So let's talk about the mindset that you found in these athletes. What is it that creates an athlete like that, or what is it that you found in those athletes that drove them?
Yeah, especially from a mental aspect.
Yeah,
like just so driven and competitive. Like that's probably the thing that set Jackson apart so much compared to like most of the people I've coached. Is he's just such a competitive kid in everything that he does. Like it's pickleball. It's like just an inside run drill. Like he's a competitive sucker, and that will overrides probably a lot of the other parts like we've talked about, like some of the confidence part, maybe some of the uneasiness part, maybe a little bit of nervousness, the pressure to succeed. Like I think some guys are so driven from a competitive standpoint that they always want to win, and like they'll make that happen more times than not. That's what drives them. Some of those other things kind of fall back, and they don't maybe play in their head as much as some other athletes do, which frees them, right, to perform. And I felt like that was something that was special about him for sure.
Let me ask you, okay, so you have a lot of these, you coached a lot of these really big star athletes who made really big impacts on your program. But that also adds a lot of extra pressure to maybe some kids who aren't built to sustain that pressure.
No doubt.
how would you help those kids navigate it?
Yeah.
Because not everyone can perform at that level and have that spotlight on them all the time.
Yeah.
So how would you help keep everybody on the same playing field?
I think you try to celebrate like the good things they did just as much as the big time kid. Like maybe it's a PR in the weight room or it's a PR on the track, like in the 100. You know, hey, you went from running 12:05 to 11:93, and you were excited to break 12. Like you celebrate the heck out of that and get excited for them, and try to make them feel like their contributions to the team, no matter what. Like versus the big time kid to the lower kid, you try to find a way to connect to them at a level where they feel like they're valued in what you're doing in your operations as a team.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me, I know you had a love for Corner Canyon and these kids, and a lot of people saw publicly what you did on the field. Was there anything that really kind of stood out to you as a coach off the field that you take away from Corner Canyon that really meant something to you?
Yeah.
Like something as a program that you guys did that maybe the public didn't see?
Yeah. There's a lot like that I took from being there, but one of them was just the kids there off the field, and even just the kids I taught in classes are just really, really good kids, and like almost refreshing and like energizing to be around because of the way they approach stuff. You hear things all the time about like the youth and like how they're not as good as what they were before, and they you know, selfish or whatever. They're not, though. Like you get into it and you're around them, and it's like refreshing, like how much they care about people and each other, and they want to help. Like we did tons of service projects and feeding the homeless and going downtown to the Salt Lake Mission and feeding, like, and they were always willing to step up and do that. Like it wasn't hard ever that way, and you just saw the way they reacted to things like that. Just it's refreshing. Like it's being around kids like that. That's to awesome. Go to work every day. And like it energizes you as a human being and as like a person to see kids like be that way, and you feel good about like where things are going in the future with that. I don't view it as what a lot of people view it with the youth. I think they're incredible and really powerful, and they're overcoming and dealing with so many other challenges that we never dealt with.
Well, and speaking of that, okay, so they do have the pressure of not only performing on the field, the court, wherever it is, but they've got the school pressure and they've got family pressure and all these other things building on top of them. Was there ever a kid to you that stood out that maybe, you know, not necessarily the spotlight kid that we know about, but a kid who maybe stood out to you and inspired you personally that you can tell us about?
No doubt. Yeah, Matt Sharp wasn't like the superstar at all. Was a scout team player his whole career. Never really, he didn't get any accolades at all. Like he didn't, and really socially was kind of super quiet and not popular. And he was like his process of how he operated in our program for 4 years without getting any of that was incredible. Like he didn't miss lifting days. We lifted at 6 a.m. He didn't miss track days. Like he ran track, and I know for a fact he did not like track. Like his shins were always killing him. But his process, the way he showed up, he would practice hard all the time. Like that stuff's refreshing because a lot of kids, they get that external reward. And, you know, he's since like got his degree at UVU, and he's in the workforce. He lives like about a block away from where I do, and I get to see his parents, but it's pretty special, like to see how he operated. Yeah. And I told people like all the time, like you never try to like say this is my crowning achievement as a coach, but we got him down. Like, I mean, he ran so bad kind of when we first started having him
I'm sure he'll love hearing that.
Yeah, and he'll know it too. I've told him, because I've joked around with him quite a bit. He ran like an 11:9, like 1 his senior year, which is pretty fast, like for anybody. Like, I mean, it's not like a 10, but from him to be where he was at to that accomplishment, I've told people like that's might be my crowning achievement as a high school coach in general. Wow. Like the fact that we could get him to that point was special, and he's a great young man, like just fun.
That's what I love to hear that.
Super quiet though. Like you can't get him to talk. Like he was so funny, but yeah.
But I love to hear that. I love to hear, somebody who's coached some really big famous athletes say that it wasn't, that there are some other kids who really made an impact that maybe you didn't hear about.
Yeah.
And that you could be that kid making that impact on a coach or another player. You don't have to be the flashy one all the time.
And he did, like, if you watched, like, how he did stuff, like, it was remarkable, like, just the way he went about it. We called him Money Matt. He was great.
Money Matt. Shout out to
Sharp,
Money Matt Sharp. I love that. Coach, for teens who are feeling that pressure, maybe they are in a program that is super successful. Maybe they're in a program that is not, and they're feeling the pressure to try to achieve something. What do you say to that teen who is looking for some guidance on how to do that, how to handle that pressure, and how to build something better?
Yeah. The pressure really, it's good. It'll motivate you too, but to not, and I talked about a little bit for myself earlier, you can't let it be insurmountable or be if you let it get to you to a point and it's holding you back, you have to find different ways to motivate yourself, but also maybe to cope with that. And there's a lot of great people that can help with that. The sports psychology people, that field's grown and they're awesome. Mm-hmm. But really, if they can just get up and show up every day and work their butt off, it's really that simple sometimes for athletes. Like if you can just get up and keep showing up every day and work your butt off when you get there and be present, you'll make huge leaps and bounds improvements throughout your career, especially at that age. Like they can develop so much athletically and from a skill standpoint. At the high school level, they'll never improve more than they will during those 4 years if they do it right. But it's almost like if they can make it as simple as I'm going to get out of bed, I'm going to go show up, I'm going to go work, which sounds simple. It's a hard thing to do, right? It's hard for even people as adults, right? Sometimes now, I'll be honest, there's times I don't want to get up and go to work. I don't want to get up and go do stuff. Yeah. And if you can just do that at times and make it as simple as that and just keep showing up and work hard, and your coach will see that. Be the kid that's there every day and be the kid that's there on time every day, and then puts a ton of effort into whatever workout they're doing. It could be a strength training session for an hour and a half, and then it might be, maybe it's a track session later, an hour and a half, and be engaged in that while you're there. Yeah.
Be the Money Matt.
Yeah, be the Money Matt. It makes a big difference.
Up.
Yeah, show up. It'll help. And
even this morning, I heard on the Jefferson Fisher podcast, he had a Dr. Sade Zahari on, and she wrote this book where she did this research. It's a 5-year study that said 95% of people have self-doubt. 95% of people out there are self-doubting every single day.
Yeah.
And the thing that separates people who are successful is how you detach from that self-doubt.
Yeah.
And what I hear from you putting that into it is if you just show up to start, you can build.
It'll you'll get rid of that. And it's always there. I have it all the time. It's for me,
you coach, self-doubt?
Yeah. Oh, I do.
I don't see that.
And I'll tell our players because I know they do too. Sure, that statistic's got to be I'm surprised it's not higher than that, because I think everybody has it. And there's was it Wilma Rudolph that was a track athlete that was phenomenal, but she talks about the power of self-belief and how that drove her. And if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to? Really, you have to start there for sure.
I always tell myself, you've got to believe that you bring value to any room that you go into.
Yeah.
That room is better because you're in it.
You're in it, yeah, I love that.
That field is better because you're on it. Whatever capacity that is, whether that is you cheering on your teammate on the bench, whether that is you contributing on the field, regardless, you being there makes that a better situation.
I love that.
And so that's awesome. What I am always, even in this situation, awesome. Hosting a podcast.
Yeah.
I have to believe that this is better because I'm here.
I love
You know what I mean? So there's my 2 cents, everybody. There's my 2 cents on this.
Well, and I think some of that, people shy away from because they don't want to come off as maybe arrogant or cocky, but you have to have like some of that in yourself as a person. Like, I love the way you said that. Like, I'm bringing value into whatever I'm doing. That's awesome. I'm going to take that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you define leadership? I mean, you are constantly looking for leaders to build a team, to lead, especially now at the college level. That's a lot of players to manage. What is it that is a leader to you? How do you define that?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that you can do, like, I think there's some check marks you have to have, or some points that you're hitting. Like, I think you have to not always be perfect, but you have to be one of the ones that's willing to be, like, really, really good in the process. Maybe you're there for lifting, but you get after it, like in the lifting sessions, and you're working your butt off there, and you're doing a great job in the classroom. When I'm talking like college football, or when we go run, you're one of the ones that's always bringing great effort into that part of it. But then probably once you hit those marks and you're like on your game and you're doing things right within the program, serving others, I think, is one of the biggest things, and be willing to do things that aren't above you ever. Like, that nothing should be really beneath you to do. You have to do all the little things too. And some of that might just be talking to a teammate, or encouraging them, or cleaning up, or going and do some small task that maybe certain people would think that they're above, but you never are. Like, any little thing, even doing that as like a head coach, being willing to serve your athletes and your other coaches in a way that, like, nothing's, too small for you to do as a person. I think it's empowering as a leader. And I think sometimes leaders miss that part, where they feel like they might be above and beyond some of those things.
Sometimes it's just the little things.
Yeah, it is.
And coaches notice it.
It is. It's huge. Yeah. And for your players to empower them in that part of it, I think is really, it's because kids get that way a little bit too. And if you can encourage them to not, and to really kind of just serve their teammates and the people around them, people love that. Like, it's touches them in a different way, for sure.
Well, Coach, I hope that you don't mind me asking. I know I want to talk a little bit about fear, and just, when things hit you that maybe put you in a space you didn't expect to be in. You were diagnosed with MS. How old were you, or what age were you? Early in your coaching career.
I always ask my wife this because she remembers it, but I think I was 30 or 31.
And at the beginning, really kind of at the beginning of your coaching career, you were at Jordan at the time?
Yeah, I had been a head coach just barely. I had just been made a head coach.
Take me back to that moment where you hear that. Your life is built around athletics, and you get this diagnosis that can lead to some really difficult things in your future. Tell me about what comes into your thoughts at that time, and how you handled that.
Yeah, it was scary. Like, at first, I'll share this a little bit. It was hopefully I won't get emotional, but I was talking to my brother, my oldest brother Norman, who's like the biggest football fan. Like, he'll drive up. He lives in Cedar City. He drives up for all of our games. He's really into it.
We love Norman.
He's great. He's even been thrown out of a game before for getting a little
Norman.
too excited about that. Yeah, but he broke down in tears when I told him. And I don't know if I was just a little unassuming and just like, I'll be fine. Like, this is no big deal. Like, I can handle this. But it almost scared me just like a little bit, like, because I was like, yeah, this is maybe a little more serious than I thought. I've always kind of had this, like, I'm just going to take it and go, like, with challenges. And there's times that I for sure, like, get overwhelmed, but I feel like if I just move forward, like, I can do almost anything. But it almost made me think and reflect a little bit, kind of scared me. Like, oh, yeah, this is a little bit serious. But also, like, him and, like, my other brothers and my sister and my mom, like, just their, like, support, and my wife and their, like, my kids and stuff like that, like, seeing them, like, I'm gonna be here for them, especially my kids and my wife. Like, I'm gonna figure out a way to, like, just progress and move forward. And again, I've been lucky too. Like, medications for multiple sclerosis and the advancements they've made are so much better now than they were when I was first diagnosed. The medications I'm on now versus then are 10 times better. And so that part, the medical advancement, just truly being grateful for that and the opportunities that they've been able to give me. And then also it's so varying in the type of what you get. Like mine doesn't seem to be as debilitating as it is for others. So I feel lucky in that too.
Yeah. Did
and
you
there's
have
been
to prioritize mental health at that moment?
Yes. Oh yeah. And you know what? I kind of was a little lucky. I had a, when I say lucky, it's not lucky, but I had struggled. I kind of hit a low point about a year before that from a mental health standpoint, where I kind of hit rock bottom. And the pain that I was in from a mental health standpoint, and from an anxiety standpoint, I had never felt before in my life. I had major injuries and torn Achilles and Liz Frank feet and all kinds of stuff like that. But that pain that I felt there from what I was going through from a mental health standpoint, it kind of put me at like rock bottom.
How did you climb out? Or what did you do? What did you do to help you get to a point where you felt you could move forward?
I talked to my wife. Like that was probably the biggest thing. Like her help, like support, changed the game for me. I was at a point like where I was, you have suicidal thoughts and ideation and things like that, and I hadn't said anything. And my dad had died by suicide when I was 19, but I was afraid. I didn't want to be that, and I didn't want that to happen to me, so I reached out and got help, which really I should have done sooner. It had gone on for like a little while, and I had my young kids, and I was like looking at them, and I knew I didn't want to let this get me or like be something that changed my life or their life forever from making a bad decision. So reached out to her, and then she got me going like in the right spot and just improved and changed. And it really, from dealing with that, put me in a better space when I was diagnosed with MS. I think that's probably one of the bigger things, and we've talked about that, my wife and I have, like that was a blessing really, even though you don't maybe look at that because that pain is different like than any other pain I've had, but it was a game changer for me and really gave me some tools to better I think deal with the MS situation and improve from there. I felt like I got better, and sometimes that is how when you get adversity, you're always going to try to improve and hopefully make you stronger from it, and it did.
How does that impact your life today, not only physically but just mentally? How do you use it to empower you?
Like this, the challenges that you get now, they're always still there. And using that, like, hey, I've overcome this, or I've been able to overcome that. Like I've met some of these harder times in my life, and these harder challenges, I've been able to overcome it. I know I can overcome things that come at me like that, but I do have to remember how I did it and the ways I did it, and reaching out and talking, sharing things that are bugging me. My wife's like my therapist pretty much, but like sharing those with her, so she knows, and like, hey, I'm struggling with this, like, and nobody knows, I'm sure, like, or hey, I have this going on, and she'll like, we'll talk about it at different times, like she'll ask me the next day, and like just being able to do some of that, and then continuing. The exercise has been big for me, still, with like some of the meditation and the self-talk strategies that are out there, and are helped a ton. Like if I worked through from that part to overcome, because you have to have those coping mechanisms and those tools in your tool belt as you're battling mental health and just the different parts that come with it. And it's like anything else you do. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, because I think kids don't often hear their coaches, express they've struggled too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's moments that you have seasons, right? Just like a football season, you have seasons of life where it's not always pretty, but you seek the help, and if you can, and you can put the tools into action, there's something on the other side.
No doubt.
And usually it's a lot better.
Yeah. The hope that it will get better, I think, super. If people can remember that, like you're going to have the tough times, but you can always get better. Things are going to improve. So I love that. Yeah.
Well, Coach, if there's an athlete or a coach or just anyone out there listening right now, doubting themselves, comparing themselves, or just feeling, like that they're not enough, what would you say directly to that person after this conversation that we've had today?
Yeah.
What would be your last, kind of statement to them that you'd like them to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, build that belief in yourself, And it can start small, accomplishing tasks and doing them in the right way. It could be something really, really small. Like I've heard people talk about, like, get up and make your bed, just because at least that's one thing that you did and accomplished that day, and then work off from there. Maybe it's a workout, maybe it's a homework assignment, maybe it's, helping someone else. Like, just accomplish tasks that you feel good about and build confidence off, and then you keep building off of that. And then those tasks, you just, before you know it, you're, playing at a high level of whatever sport you're in, and you have some tools that, combat some of those hard parts, like, now I've gotten to this point and I have, a little bit of self-doubt, accomplish something small and then build off that and build that self-belief in yourself. And, like you want this, like, that's why you started playing. And sometimes remembering that too, like, make it fun also too, I think is something we've forgotten about a little bit with the high pressure part of sports. But I think just building things, finding, small successes sometimes, even though you might be struggling in other ways, like, it is really important to kind of build that up. So if kids can do that, for sure.
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being candid and telling us about your experiences and what has mattered to you throughout this process. And honestly, best of luck at Weber State.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm excited to see what you do with the Wildcats.
I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait for the season to get rolling, but I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on the Stand for Kind podcast. You can learn more about Stand for Kind on our website, standforkind.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. We also hope that you'll subscribe and share this show with your friends and family. We'll see you next time.